All right, continuing to talk about mental and emotional health. Something that's really important for you guys to learn is managing stress. Stress is something that will never leave your life, no matter how much you mature or grow or, anything else. It's learning to deal with stressors, identifying what stresses us out. And, if it's something we can avoid, then avoid it. If it's something we can't avoid, then we need to find ways to help manage it. So we're going to identify the cause of stress, describe how our body responds to stress, and then develop some skills to manage stress in your life. There's a ton of different ways, but I'm going to have you try one of my favorite ways at the end. So what is stress? It is just your body's response to change. So something happens, all of a sudden I'm like, okay, here's a 100-point midterm, boom, stress. It's a common form of anxiety, which we just talked about, and it's a completely normal reaction. Some long-term physical effects could include nervous habits like biting nails or pulling out hair. You could have problems sleeping or eating because you're so stressed. There is such thing as positive stress. It can motivate you to do your best. It can get you ready for a big game. So if you're stressed out about the big football game or your volleyball game, it could actually help you perform better in the sport. It can make you more alert and improve your concentration. So that's using stress in a positive way. Causes of stress. A stressor is anything in your life that causes you stress. It can be negative or positive. It could be some sort of everyday annoyance like, I hate Mondays. It could, you just don't like Mondays because that means, hey, it's the beginning of the week and you have to get up early. Or it could be something extremely stressful like losing your dog. I don't know. What would examples be of somewhat extremely stressful events and extremely stressful events? What are some common stressors in your life? So think about things that stress you out. What's a small stressor in your life? What's something that would really stress you out? Like a tornado destroying your house. That would be extremely stressful. Not like it would ever happen, but you never know. So I believe that's a question on your worksheet, naming some stressors in your life. Your body's response to stress. You have something called a fight or flight response. It's the process by which the body prepares to deal with a stressor. You probably heard of this before in science class, maybe, I'm assuming. The fighting or fleeing is your body's natural response to threats or harm. So if something was attacking you or moving quickly at you, your natural instinct would be to run. So you're either going to stay there and fight or you're going to flee. Adrenaline is the hormone that gives your body that extra energy. So you might have heard someone use that word before, and it's just a hormone produced. It gives you that extra boost. Sometimes they say that you have so much adrenaline after an accident that you might not feel your injury until that adrenaline wears off, and then your body succumbs to whatever pain it is. Like if you were playing a sport and broke your leg, and at first you didn't feel anything, and then that adrenaline wore off, and all of a sudden now you feel that broken leg. Having too much stress is not a good thing. Your body can only handle so much. So having intense stress, either positive or negative, can negatively impact your health. It affects all sides of your health triangle. So even if you have a ton of positive stress, it's still stress and it's still too much. So we need to manage both positive and negative stress in our life. What are some stress management tools that we can use to help manage our stress? I don't know if you talked about this in 8th grade. I talk about it with my 8th graders, but you can Google things. I'm going to give you examples. You're going to tell me examples, and I'm going to give you some right now. So, how does stress affect the physical health side of your triangle? Too much stress can lead to headaches, digestive problems, and high blood pressure. You don't want any of those. Ongoing stress can tire you out physically and reduce your body's ability to fight infections. So if you are stressed all the time, you're more likely to be sick, which is probably not a good thing with COVID-19 running around right now. The body's physical response to stress. You don't need to know all these. It came out of the book, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but some examples. Again, your brain releases hormones and chemicals that protect you from pain and give you energy. So that adrenaline, again, you might not feel what happened to you because you have so much adrenaline running through your body. So once you relax, then you might. Your hearing actually gets sharper. The muscles in your throat contract and become narrow, and then your mouth gets a little dry. Swallowing becomes more difficult. Again, your heart speeds up, which is where you get that high blood pressure from. You don't want your heart to pump quickly. You want it to be slow and steady. You want to have a low resting heart rate, not too low, you'll be dead. But if you have a high resting heart rate, that means that your heart is working harder than it should. And the stronger your heart is from, running cardiovascular muscles, the less work it has to do, and your heart can't stop. So imagine never being able to rest. You want a strong heart. Breathing becomes deeper and faster, and your adrenal glands are responsible for the release of adrenaline. Your muscles tense and tighten. They get ready for action. You're getting ready for that fight or flight response. And then your skin perspiration increases, which just means you probably are going to start to sweat. Mentally and emotionally, having too much stress can make you really anxious, moody, and irritable. It can interfere with schoolwork and take away your desire to have fun. Socially, having too much stress can make you yell at people around you, withdraw or back off from human interaction. We talked about that sublimation and taking out your feelings on someone that doesn't necessarily deserve them. But if, people are hounding you all day and then you get that one person that adds that last comment that really just sets you off, then maybe all that anger and stress that built up all day was all unleashed on this one person who probably didn't deserve all of it. But these are signs that your body is overwhelmed and you need to better manage your stress. So if you are yelling at people constantly because you're stressing out, if you withdraw or you don't like human interactions because you're so stressed you just don't want to talk to anybody, that might be a sign that you need to manage your stress. So let's talk about some skills for managing stress. Talking about it usually just stresses people out, so let's fix that. You cannot remove stressors from your life, but you can manage them. You can start by practicing good, healthy habits. You can eat well, get good sleep. When your level of wellness is high, you feel good and you are better able to handle your problems. Thinking way back to the first health assignment I had you do, wellness was what? Remember that health triangle? You got 3 sides. How balanced is your triangle? Anything in the middle is your wellness. So if your triangle is nice and balanced, it's going to be as big as it can be with all those check marks, then you have a high level of wellness. If one side's smaller, your triangle is not going to be as full and your wellness is not going to be as high. Skills to help you deal with stress. These are just some ideas from your book. There's a ton of things you can do additionally to this, but you can try relaxing, laughing, maintaining a positive outlook. Staying physically active is good for you no matter what. This is why I push to have you have PE every single day you're in school, because you're not in school every day now. That's a disservice to you. Thanks, COVID. But I truly, truly believe that staying physically active is important. So having you come to school and sit in the classroom for health is not ideal for me. It's not ideal for you. Managing your time so you're not stressed on Friday night trying to finish all of your homework for all of your classes. And then socializing with family and friends, taking a break from the real world and just having some fun. So relaxing is the ability to slow down your heart rate, take deep breaths, exercise to relax your muscles. You could do reading, coloring, knitting, sleeping with your cat, tons of things. Laughter redirects the energy that stress creates. So if you can have a positive outlook on things that happen that are potentially stressful and laugh at it, better for you. Again, physical activity. When you're physically active, your brain releases chemicals that positively affect your mood. We love physical activity. It helps you feel happier and more relaxed. Why do you think I'm such a happy, perky person? I'm always exercising with you guys. I'm always running around. Yay, physical activity. Time management. Scheduling is a huge cause of stress in a teenager's life. So get a day planner, work out what classes you have homework in, when you have practice, when you have time to sleep, eat. You guys have a lot going on, so try to effectively manage that. We're not going to talk about coping with loss. On your homework, I asked you questions about stress. On this last part, I want you to try relaxing. In class, I always have my classes meditate with me, and I really don't practice this myself at home, but I love meditating in class because it really works. And I've had teachers come to me after my 8th graders have meditated, and 8th graders be wild. And they said, "What did you do in class?" Because they have never, ever been that good. They were so calm, cool, collected. They were so good. And I was like, we meditated. I highly recommend it. So when you do it, you can use the YouTube video. I popped a link in here for you. I hope it works. It shouldn't be blocked because it's meditation music. You could do it in silence if you prefer silence, or you could find your own relaxing music to meditate to, like if you like water fountains or something. I listed the steps for meditation. You got to find a nice spot. Usually it's quiet, so don't be around a lot of rowdy kids. Find a comfortable position. You can sit, lay down. I wouldn't recommend standing. It's not very relaxing. Then you're just going to clear your mind. You're going to try not to think about anything. You're just going to sit there, and they call it observing your inner dialogue, which is like internally. You don't want to stress and think about what's going on today, tomorrow, your homework. You just want to be there and not think about anything. And then try to end your meditation slowly. This is hard to do by yourself, especially if you fall asleep, but just don't abruptly come out of it and just kind of, open your eyes slowly and stay relaxed after your meditation. So this is my recommended music. It is super soothing. I use it in class, and we usually meditate for at least 10 minutes. The first time I do it with my class for at least 20. And you're either going to love it or hate it. So just do me a favor and try. Then I want you to just answer these 3 questions. How did you choose to meditate? What position were you in? Did you use my music, different music? Were you in silence? How did you feel before, during, and after your meditation session? And overall, do you think that it was helpful in relieving some of your stress? And you have to tell me why or why not, because I'm very curious. So, get it done by Friday. If you get it done sooner, turn it in. Thanks.